Welcome everyone to a Baseball America Google Plus Hangout along with Aaron Fitt. I'm John Manuel. Want to remind you to not forget about Baseball America's draft offer. Subscribe now and receive one extra month of access with any premium content subscription. Go to baseballamerica.com to subscribe. And we have a new Google Hangout sponsor, Aaron. This is very exciting. Baseballamerica.com's postseason college baseball Google Hangouts are going to be sponsored by DeMarini. Visit DeMarini.com to see the 2014 lineup of DeMarini BB Core bats, including the CF6 with D-Fusion handle technology. Visit DeMarini.com. Aaron, we welcome DeMarini to the fold of Baseball America sponsors for our college content. And one thing they're helping sponsor, Aaron, is your trip down to Birmingham for the Southeastern Conference Tournament. A lot of draft heats been in there, Aaron, and there was a lot of scouting directors and general managers last night to see LSU's Aaron Nola, and it sounds like Aaron Nola did anything but disappoint.
He was great. He was just a lot of fun to watch. And one of the things that really stood out about his performance was that he was not great in the first inning. And Kendall Rogers made the point that it reminded him of the Sam Houston State game in the regional last year, and I think he's exactly right. I mean, the first inning, when Sam Houston State just kind of jumped on Nola, I think they put up 5 runs in that game, and then nothing thereafter. And in this case, there's only 1 run. The defense didn't unfold, or I should say, fall in that game, and he got out of it, and stranded the bases loaded, and then he just put up 4 straight hitless innings. And I think that's important. It really cuts right to the heart of one of the things that makes him great. He's able to find that extra gear when he needs it, and it's you kind of had that feeling last night that if Arkansas didn't get to him in the first inning when they had the chance, that it was over. I mean, and it was. I mean, as soon as he came back out for the second, he was himself, and he just hit all the spots again. And I love the Paul Mainieri quote afterwards, and Mainieri is just such a great quote, and I'm so impressed with his ability to constantly find new ways to talk about Nola, because he's been talking about the guy for 3 years ad nauseum. But I love what he said yesterday. Is when you're watching from the side, it kind of seems like anytime the umpire calls a ball that he's missing the call, because Nola always hits the glove, and that's exactly right. I mean, his command is so special, and I loved the way he's able to locate the slider in particular. I mean, that pitch, I know it's not a wipeout power breaking ball, but it's 79 to 81, and it has a lot of depth. And when he comes at those right-handed hitters from that low arm slot with that depth, it just kind of drops it in on the inside corner, and it's tough for those guys to pick it up and to hit it. And his feel for that pitch has come such a long way, and his changeup isn't the maybe plus pitch that it used to be. I mean, it's more kind of solid average right now. He clearly has enough feel for it, and he's shown it in the past that I think it can return to being a plus pitch down the road. But, I mean, he's got everything you want. He was 93, 94 throughout the game. He was up to 96 in the first inning. In the 8th, he's still 93, 94. It's shy. He's a slam dunk. I mean, I think he's not just a safe draft pick in the first 5 picks. I think he's a high upside guy because of that command. The command is so hard to find at that kind of a level. And I think he's going to be a front-line major leaguer, not just a mid-rotation guy. I think he's got a chance to be a 2 or even a 1 in the big leagues. I'm saying it. I'm all in on this guy.
You're all in. He's the Mike Leake, Aaron, is what it sounds like. I think I've made the Mike Leake comparison. It sounds like when you compare him to a Mike Leake, who was that kind of stud at Arizona State, Leake's a little bit more athletic, maybe has a deeper repertoire, but does not have as electric a stuff. And I guess the other difference, really, they both have premium command. I do think that Leake does not have the upside that Aaron Nola presents, and that seems to be the general consensus. I also think the consensus is that right now, Carlos Rodon is still the number 1 college pitcher on the board. I think that the consensus probably is that Aaron Nola is the number 2. I believe we have Kyle Freeland as the number 2 starting pitcher. I think that the consensus probably would put Nola there. I think entering the year, Aaron, it was Jeff Hoffman, and the other contender was Tyler Beede. We also saw Tyler Beede yesterday. We'll probably wrap the Hangout because you need to go to the ballpark with Tyler Beede, who contrasted significantly with Aaron Nola yesterday. I talked to one of the scouts who was on hand there yesterday. He threw a 30 on Beede's breaking ball yesterday, which both you and I have heard about being a plus pitch in the past. But it just sounds like, and you wrote about it last week, or maybe we talked about it on a podcast, his inability to land the breaking ball. Just feels like, I know we've talked a lot about Tyler lately, but yesterday was not a great look for Tyler Beatty. Correct me if I'm wrong. And if you want to build off of that, and who else had an impressive look from a draft perspective yesterday at the SEC tournament? Sounds like Jacob Lindgren of Mississippi State was the other guy.
Yeah, Beatty, first of all, I mean, you're right. It was not an impressive look, and every scout I talked to there came away just kind of shaking their heads and saying, well, you know, he had a chance to make himself some money today, and he didn't do it. And the biggest reason is that breaking ball. And certainly the fastball command wavered in the middle innings. It was good out of the gate. I was actually impressed with it early, but then he didn't locate as well. But the breaking ball, you know, he only threw a handful of them, and it didn't have that finish. You know, he tended to leave it up in the zone. It didn't snap down like it has when he really got it working, and you can tell he had no confidence in it. And he threw primarily that changeup, and it was interesting because for a while there behind the plate, you know, I thought it was did he go to a slider? And I talked to another scout there and said, what is he changing his breaking ball right before the draft? Is he going to a slider? But it wasn't. It was not a slider. It was a changeup that I guess he cuts a little bit, which is a point that Sonny Gray made to me on Twitter after I tweeted that, and he's right.
I loved it. That was awesome, by the way. That Sonny Gray was like, "No, I just cut this changeup." So that was quality. That was quality Twitter right there. You, Eric Cressy, and Sonny Gray going back and forth.
But it was fun. It was fun to see him manipulate that pitch. I will say that. You know, I mean, he can still fade it. You know, like a typical changeup with that arm side fade. But you know, it also has some. It can be pretty effective when he cuts it like that. You know, like I said, it almost has that slider kind of look to it. So you know, that pitch is his bread and butter. But you need to have a breaking ball, and you know, I don't know, 30. I mean, you know, look, he doesn't really. I will say this: the pitch still has power. You know, I mean, it's still 80-81 yesterday. So I mean, and we've seen him snap it off before. It's just a matter of getting consistent with it. So I think it projects to be an average pitch at some point, but he clearly needs some work with that. And hey, he's still a first-round pick. I mean, I don't have any doubt about that. Somebody's going to bite on this guy, and you know, trust him to their pitching instructors and get him straightened out. And you know, there's still a lot to like there. I mean, the arm is great. It was still up to, I think, 95 yesterday. Might have had a 6. I think it was 95. But progress. I mean, it's going to take probably a couple of years for him to get there. Whereas Nola, I think you could put him in the big leagues in September, and he could be pretty effective.
And how was Lindgren? It sounds like Jacob Lindgren's the other guy who's really taken off in this relief role. He's like mutant Ross Mitchell. They use him for long stints, and unlike Ross Mitchell, he just throws the crap out of the baseball. And it sounds like it's a 92, 94 fastball, low to mid 80s power slider. And I just was texting with a scout yesterday. He was down there. Said there were a couple 7s that he threw with that slider yesterday, like 70 grade slider.
I heard the same thing. Scouts were raving about that pitch. Multiple, you know, of those guys said it was one of the best sliders they've seen in a long time. And you know, his ability again to locate that pitch, and you know, I thought it was impressive that not only against right-handed hitters, not only could he back foot that pitch, but he got swings and misses down and away against right-handed hitters, which you don't see from a left-handed slider too often because with the tilt that it's got, you know, it's coming from that outside angle, and usually you'd think it'd be easier to let that pitch go, but it's just so effective. You know, and it's got so much late break. That's the big thing to it. It's you know, it's late and it's hard. It's really good. That guy is going to move fast. I can see him jumping up pretty good. He could sneak into the back of the first round or sandwich, something like that. You know, we had a couple of good relievers yesterday that threw well as well. Josh Laxer for Ole Miss was a guy that I thought looked really good. I mean, he was 93, 95. But he had a good slider too, 81, 83. Not as good as Lindgren's, of course, but he was effective with that pitch. He was actually able to throw it for strikes as well as a chase. And you know, I think the delivery is easy too. The arm action really works with that guy. We saw Adam Ravenel yesterday too for Vanderbilt. He was good. Not as good as Laxer, but he had good stuff too. So kind of 92, 93 with a good slider. A couple of days for scouts getting to see some power bullpen arms.
That's good stuff, Aaron. We'll go ahead and wrap and let you go to the ballpark and see some more good arms in the SEC tournament. Who do you like to win down there? I'm going to put you on the spot and make you predict. Is Kentucky going to win the Southeastern Conference tournament, or Mississippi State, or someone else?
I don't think it's Kentucky. I think they're, you know, yesterday, I give them credit. Those guys really fought hard without their best arms available. You know, the kid they threw, that freshman to start the game, Zach Brown, you know, not one of their real key guys, and he got him a couple of innings, and they went to their bullpen and Sam Bahar, some of these other guys that haven't pitched, as much more midweek kind of bullpen guys, and they cobbled together, and I love that. I love to see a team throw some other arms into the mix, here in the conference tournament, because maybe now some of those guys have a little bit of extra confidence if you need to win four games in a regional, build some depth. I like that, but LSU's a team that's playing at the highest level right now. I mean, they look great, John. They look really, really good in all facets. They do have a pitching drop-off after Nola, and then again after Poche, but Kyle Bowman pitched pretty well, I think, last week. They could win the Saturday game with him on the mound, and then figure it out on Sunday. But that team's got some swagger right now, and the athleticism makes them a lot of fun to watch. They track down balls in the outfield so well, and Bregman is swinging it again. I mean, he looks like Bregman right now. He had some lasers yesterday. Everything was hard. He's got that confidence going, and when he's got it going, they're a different team. His average is up above 300 now. Remember how much he was struggling for a while. He's back to being Bregman, and that makes a big difference.
That's a pretty big separator, Aaron, because when Bregman's being Bregman, he's probably the best hitter in college baseball. So,
yeah,
good stuff. Enjoy Birmingham, Hoover. I'm sorry. I'll let you go. Leave the hotel and go to the ballpark right now. I want to remind you to visit dmarini.com to see the 2014 lineup of DeMarini BB Core bats, including the CF6 with D-Fusion handle technology. Visit dmarini.com, and we thank DeMarini for coming aboard. He's at Aaron Fit BA. He's at Aaron Fit. I'm sorry. Follow him. You're still in Hoover. You can follow at Jim Schoder BA. He is headed to Greensboro for the ACC tournament tonight. Virginia and North Carolina, a key game in that event going on tonight. And I'm at John Manuel BA. You can go read my mock draft at baseballamerica.com, version 3.0. So for Aaron, I'm John. We'll see you on the next Baseball America Google Plus Hangout. Peace out.